Good morning, everyone. Today we are talking about learning to trust ourselves. And that is something that is super important because I think a lot of us at least, have been taught not to trust what we want, not to trust what we feel, and not to trust what we do even sometimes. Somehow we've gotten the idea that we're not worthy of experiencing things for the pleasure of it, because we want to do it, because it makes us feel good. We're kind of taught that there's a danger around every corner and that it's not safe to do things without permission, that we always need to make sure that we're not taking risks, that we're not making ourselves vulnerable to criticism or danger or any of those things. I mean, you want to stay safe, but it also stops us from putting ourselves out there and growing. And when we worry about what we can't control, it stays in our minds, it stays in our bodies, it affects our health and the rest of our lives sometimes, because we never learn to trust what we want out of life and pursue that, because we're always looking for external validation and external cues that everything is okay and going to be okay. Sometimes we get confused with what our passions are based on what other people told us was good to do. Learning to trust yourself does not mean that other people will necessarily agree with you or that they'll like what you're doing, and that's okay. That's important, actually. Learning to set boundaries for yourself and growing is what's more important than everybody liking you. And sometimes that can be really hard to accept. So it can be super intimidating for some people around us, especially if you've been acting a certain way and listening to everybody else, putting everyone else's needs first for so long. But here's the thing, when you start trusting yourself and living from that place of love and trust, other people around you will be inspired to do the same. And I know that from personal experience, because I have gotten a number of messages and text messages and just comments that have been really amazing. And people are telling me to keep doing what I'm doing, because me stepping into my own confidence and my own power just brings everybody else up around me. And I'm going to keep doing it, even if people disagree with me, because I know they will. So when you are able to stop looking to other people for cues for how to feel, what to want, and what to do, that's when you start stepping into your own power. And that's when you start, that's where you start trusting yourself. That's where you start gaining confidence in yourself. And that confidence is not something that is limited to certain people and not to others. It's available to everybody all the time. We just sometimes don't believe it, and we're taught not to believe it. Another thing that I've noticed is that when you start to trust yourself, you stop needing other people to act a certain way. You stop needing them to believe what you believe. You stop needing them to give you that validation that you've looked for your entire life. And for most of us, that's starting as a young child. We have learned to look to the adults in our lives for cues as to what to do. And when we're told, don't cry, don't, do something, you'll hurt yourself, and you're not allowed to assess those risks for yourself, then you don't learn, and you don't learn how to trust yourself and trust what you can do in your power. If you're constantly waiting for some sort of arbitrary event, like when I get a promotion, when I get something, waiting for something in the future to trust yourself and to start feeling these things, and having those accomplishments under your belt can definitely help with your self-trust, but it should not be the source of it, because you have to believe that you can do something before you actually do it. So if you start doubting yourself and not trusting yourself, that if you want to lose 20 pounds but you don't think you will, like deep down, because a lot of people say, oh yeah, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, and they get really excited, and once they start losing that momentum that was initially there, the 20 pounds kind of stays. And there are a lot of different factors that can go into weight loss. It's not just mindset. It can be hormones, it can be nutrition. Exercise is actually one of the lower things on the totem pole if you're trying to lose weight, side note. But if you don't believe that you can lose 20 pounds, it's very unlikely that you'll ever be able to do that. And reminder, you are not here to live life by somebody else's guidelines. You are here to live and feel and be. And if you're not living a life that you choose, that's where we end up in burnout mode, because we're constantly giving our energy to something that we don't truly want for ourselves. So there are times where you will need to get advice from other people. You will need their opinion, or at least want their opinion, as far as what to do. And the thing is, when you get advice from somebody else, you have to decide for yourself whether that advice is good for you or not. So, for example, when I was in pharmacy school, I had the opportunity to go to the Middle East for a couple of months for a rotation. And this is something that I was very excited about. It was an opportunity that I did not think would come across in my lifetime again, so I needed to jump on it right then. And when I started getting my paperwork all together, when I started telling my friends and telling my family what my plans were to go to the Middle East for a couple of months, people thought a lot of things, actually. There was a lot of support, a lot of excitement, but also there were people who flat out told me, you shouldn't go. That's a bad idea. It's really dangerous there. And I was kind of just like, thank you for your advice. I am going to trust that I can do this and I don't need your approval to do it. So I went, and it was one of the most incredible things that I've ever done in my life. I don't regret doing it for a second, and it's because I had the ability to trust myself in that moment and decide for me what was best, instead of relying on everyone else around me to tell me what was best for me. Stepping into that place in your head is not always very comfortable at first, especially, like I said, when we have been taught that we shouldn't do that for ourselves. We shouldn't make decisions. We should always look to other people. But it's really selling ourselves short, because each and every one of you have the power to create the life that you want. It's not a matter of when something else happens. You can start dreaming about that today. You can start trusting that what you want out of life is available to you today. You can decide that and start planning out your future. Figure out what it is that you want to do and take the first step towards it. I might have said it in a previous video, but when I started this journey, I decided that I would take the next right step every time. And that trusting that intuition is what has gotten me to where I am today. It's gotten me so much more than I ever dreamed of, and I'm just starting. I just love helping people find their purpose, find their passion, find the trust in themselves, and just go for it. I thank all of you who have supported me along in my journey as I learn to trust myself, because, like I said before, it is not an easy thing to do, but I'm here to help people do that. If you believe there's something more out there for you, there is, and I can help you find what that means for you. So if you're ready to take the next step in your life, whether it's health or purpose or just wanting to feel unstuck, schedule a call with me, because I would love to be able to help you unstick your own life, because you're worth it. You are worthy. I really truly feel that I am here to help people step into their power and to step into their truth and trust themselves. And I really truly feel that we're all here to live our lives fully, and that's the biggest honor we can give to ourselves and give to anyone else around us, is living our own life with purpose. Looking forward to talking to you soon, hopefully, because why wait? Why would you want to wait for something like that to get started? It's just more time spent not trusting yourself, and that doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel helpful or productive. It just feels like you're stuck. So if you are ready to take that next step and you think that I'm the right person for you, schedule a call with me and let's talk. And either way, I'll see you next week.